Hello, hello, hello. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. So I am doing a early morning live, okay? I'm doing an early morning live because I have got to talk about and just like that. I did not know y'all was out here like not liking this season. And honestly, I have just been holding on just to the nostalgia and just like, okay, it's going to get better. It's going to get better. Like, I'm just telling myself that, right? But the truth of the matter is, I'm not feeling this Carrie and Aiden reunion. Like, I think I said that in the last review that I did for episode 3. So, listen, y'all, I'm behind on reviews. And this one is just going to be a summary up until our episode. I think we're on episode 7. I think that's the last episode that did air. Let me check really quick. Um Yes, episode 7. So, and I believe episode 3 was the last review that I did. So we're just gonna do a summary about what happened from episode 4 to 7, basically. And then jump down in the comments and y'all tell me how y'all feeling about it. Like for real, do they need to scrape it or what? And it's so funny. It's just so funny, like the shows that do get canceled and the shows that don't. I'm not necessarily saying that and just like that needs to be canceled. I'm just saying, I'm just saying, I'm just saying, because I'm still watching it just like that. Not with the happiest of hopes. Because I'm not liking the Aiden and Carrie. And the funny thing is, when we knew that Aiden was coming back, when we knew that they were filming, I wasn't happy about it then. And now this season, they have Aiden showing up like some big goofball. Had he always played the goofball, like the very attractive goofball, and he was just so attractive we didn't pay attention to his goofball? Because today, in today's episode, in real time episodes, he is showing up like a clown. And I'm thinking, you are too old to be this goofy, right? I don't know. I don't know. It's a turn off for me. It's a turn off for me to watch, and it's a turn off for me to want the characters to be together because Carrie deserves so much better. She deserves somebody who is polished, who has a little bit of distinguishment. I ain't sure if that was all Mr. Big, but he damn sure wasn't as goofy and like big old Aiden. And that make it even worse to be big and goofy. Anyway, now listen, y'all, don't forget to like this video. And subscribe to my channel, okay? Once you subscribe, you become a part of the family. It's the Internet Cousins, hashtag Cousins Crew. Okay, that's the name of the community. Of course, my reviews are unpopular opinions. I don't know if they are always unpopular. I do try to sneak one in there, and I usually do because I usually have some unpopular thoughts that end up being more popular than you would imagine. Um, so that is what is going on. I hope everybody's having a great day. I hope your week is going very well. And with that said, let's get into it. Let's get into it. So, the last review that I did for And Just Like That, we basically left off where I was saying Carrie was going to go visit Aiden, right? Because Aiden is in Virginia and Carrie is in New York. All right. She just moved to her house. They're calling it Gramercy. And also, guess what else we find out in these episodes that I'm gonna review? That there's a downstairs. Go figure. I don't know how I missed that, but clearly I did. Anyway, so Carrie does go to visit Aiden in Virginia, And she ends up having to stay in like the guest house because I think he told her something like the boys didn't know that she was coming, and like like basically it would be he didn't want to spring her on them somehow. I'm not really sure why she would be a spring on, but she stayed in the guest house, okay, which is like out back of their house, of course. Now Wyatt is the son, and I think he is the youngest, right? Because if we're not mistaken, it's supposed to be three of them. Um, but we only saw Homer and Wyatt, I think. I thought it was three. I don't know. I could be wrong. And I'm getting three from Sex in the City. And I don't it gotta be season four, right? Oh no, no, no. Take that back. It's about season five or so. Um Carrie was dating Burger or was getting ready, trying to date him. Remember, she was running from him. Um because she didn't have her date outfit on. That's funny how I can remember a detail like that about this show. Um, and she ends up running into Aiden, and Aiden has a baby. He has a baby in the carrier. So that's when we find out that he got married to the furniture designer, and that they had, and I thought he said three, and maybe the confirmation of three. So they had that baby, which that was the first baby. Okay, so that was the first baby. That's when we saw him during Sex in the City. We run back into him, or Carrie runs back into him during Sex in the City 2 during the trip to Abu Dhabi. Remember, he was in the souk market? She runs into him there. Remember, they had dinner and they kissed, right? She had to go back home and tell Big that she kissed Aiden. Um, and I believe that is where he was still married then. That to our knowledge. To our knowledge. I'm gonna have to go back and get that little detail. Look at me. But I believe it was then that he said it was three sons. So I thought it was three. But I got three boys, so I might just be projecting. Maybe it is two. Either way, because we see the fans and caught them in another like, y'all didn't do y'all research, and that's about LTW's dad, but we'll get there. Um, okay, so Wyatt is the son, and like I said, I think he is the youngest. But he is the one who, I guess, clearly has possibly ADHD. I'm not even sure if that's actually been like confirmed on the show. It just seems like they're just presenting him with these behavior problems. And I don't even know if they actually have told us like what the behavior problems are or where they stem from. I don't know if it's because him and his wife, him and his mom and his dad are getting divorced or have gotten divorced, and he's just been acting out, or if he has something like, an actual diagnosis that contributes. But he is having rebellious outbursts, disagreements, and there end up being a request to Carrie from Wyatt's mom, if Carrie could get some Adderall. So now Carrie is like a semi like drug dealer because now she's on the hunt for Adderall to take to her boyfriend's son. Okay, as by the mother's request. Uh, I say if anything, at least the mother did request it, I guess. But what a weird request, right? Mm. Let me take a drink. It's early in the morning to be talking, honey. So, at some point during maybe the fifth episode, we do, or maybe later on in this episode, we find out that Aiden is against him taking the Adderall, but Carrie does get a hold to some and she brings it. Um, and I think Carrie was not aware. When Kathy is Aiden's ex-wife's name, when Kathy reached out to Carrie, I think Carrie just really wanted to just be helpful. Um, and with Kathy being, Aiden's son's mother, I think Carrie just wanted to, she just wanted to help out. And she didn't know that Aiden was against it, and she also didn't reach out and say anything to Aiden. Again, I think it was more about not looking for necessarily approval from Kathy, but I think she just wanted to show up for her. Especially as a mom coming out asking for something like that. And even though Carrie is not a mom, I think Carrie is compassionate enough to know, like, well, it probably took her a lot to even put herself out there to do that. And so she just really wanted to do that for her. I think that's my take on it, which is why I think she didn't say anything to Aiden about it. Is that something that you guys thought about? Did you wonder, like, why didn't she reach out to Aiden and ask him about it before bringing it? I don't know. But again, like I said, I think she just looked at Kathy as a mom and how hard it would be to um have to reach out for something like that, you know? I think that's pretty hard. Let me go ahead and share this really quick. Okay, let's see. All right, I got that done. Okay, so yeah, that's my take on why she didn't say anything to Aiden in the first place before she brought it. But she brought it, she gave it to Kathy. That's all done. Um, Now Carrie is gonna attempt to bond with the boys. Like she can tell that like one of the boys is kind of like, hey, cool. They good Homer, because we only met the two, Homer and Wyatt. Um, so Homer's like cool with Carrie. Wyatt is like, whatever, Carrie. That's how he feels. And again, you drop down in the comments and you tell me, did I miss something? Like seriously, it's only about 10 episodes in these seasons. I can't imagine that I would miss a detail. Like, why is it that we don't know why Wyatt is like behaving the way that he does? And with him kind of treating Carrie bad, it does seem like his gripe is that his parents are not together. And I think at the man, dang, I think at the little dinner, maybe his brother did kind of blurt that out. So maybe that is a lot of his issue. Um, okay, so Tate is the boy. That's the oldest. Okay, so it is three of them: Tate, Homer, and Wyatt. And Tate must does not live at home. And it's his birthday dinner. And so they end up having dinner again, Carrie. So remember in the third episode, Carrie had to go to Virginia for a work thing. And she stayed at a hotel. And remember, she was meeting Aiden. But then she wanted to extend her stay, how she ends up at Aiden's house and then ends up in the guest house at the same time, because Aiden did invite her, but that was something she was trying to figure out. It's like, why hadn't he invited her to come and spend the night? They supposed to be, I guess, in a relationship, right? Weirdest relationship ever, and which is why I'm not feeling it. Like, not for nothing. And this is how you know it's a man behind the writing, because who is waiting till they in their 50s to be in something like that? Like, not anybody, especially not a Carrie. After everything she's been through dating, you think Carrie is sitting around waiting on somebody for 5 years? Yeah, no, that's not happening. Um, so anyhow, but so she was wondering, um, like why Aiden hadn't invited her over. And here, so that's where we're going back to that. What 50 something, she's in her 50s, going, into her 60s, and having to question herself these questions. I don't know about y'all, but I'm not doing it. Like, I'm not doing it. It's an absolute no for me, dog, in my Randy Jackson voice. Okay? Yeah, we're not doing that. Anyway, let's go to the birthday dinner because the birthday dinner was a total disaster. Um, Carrie apologizes about the Adderall because she didn't know, that this is where she finds out that Aiden was against it because it ends up coming up at the dinner table. And Aiden went to the kitchen. Carrie kind of follows behind and, kind of apologizes like, well, I wouldn't have brought it. I didn't know you were against it. Um, and Aiden is kind of like, well, he's like, "It's fine now," like, "It's over." Like, he's kinda, like, not trying to blame Carrie. But it's a lot going on at that dinner, honey. I think, Wyatt done broke the damn window or yeah, did he break the window? I know he stormed yeah, he broke the window, cussed everybody out at the table, basically, except for Carrie. Even though she may have felt cussed out. It's clear that Wyatt is going through some issues at that birthday dinner, and it's also clear that Aiden does need to be there. So that's where my unpopular opinion had come in with the last review because I just was giving props to Aiden for putting his son's needs ahead of his own, and really like your own libido when it all boiled down to it. It's like, yeah, you know that he is struggling, and you got to help him. And so you can't focus on fortifying and building a relationship with somebody else when your child needs you and he needs your attention on him. Clearly, I don't know. What do y'all think about that? I mean, is Wyatt too old? I don't think so. Listen, I don't think so. That's why I was giving Aiden his props. And I was just really kind of saying in general, and funny thing is that I went to a film festival this weekend that had a couple films in it that were talking about fatherhood. Anyhow, but I was kind of saying about that, like fathers really should talk more about, the way that they probably should be showing up in a similar way to women where you put your children in front of um those other desires, especially when your child is in need. It would seem like it would seem like that would be something natural, but I think dads are not taught to do that. It's only moms that are supposed to nurture and put the kids first. But anyhow, I was just giving Aiden his props. No, I did not think that Carrie should sit around waiting on him for 5 years until that boy turned 18. And nor did we find out that Aiden thought that lady wasn't gonna have sex with nobody, honey. I got to be some man. That's what I said. These are the times when you know it's a man that's behind the writing. Because you have no idea how women operate. Let's move on to Miranda, okay? Because Miranda she done found her somebody to date, thank God, because it was such a nightmare watching her date around. And it was kind of funny because I'm like, well, I guess we would have to see Miranda date for a little bit because um she had dated in Sex in the City all this time she was dating men. And Austin was on, so Sarah Jessica Parker was on Watch What Happens Live with Andy. They are very good friends. Andy has a cameo in like season one, Sex in the City. It's so funny. It's so funny how at the time I didn't know who Andy was. And then when I went back and rewatched it, I was like, oh, Andy been sitting out this whole time. Anyway, um, and so Austin kind of gets on, and he was crass because the details, man, again, typical straight man at that. Because he is a Sex in the City, I guess, like super fan. Um, and I know that sounds weird, right? A straight man that's a Sex and the City super fan. Well, it's not that cute because everything that he wanted to talk to her about the show was like crass and manly. Like who slept with the like outside of Samantha, who was the next one who slept with the most people, with the most men? That's your trick question for Sex in the City trivia. You are such a douchebag. Like Austin, Austin is a total douche. And he can't shake the rap, just like clearly. Like, what is that? What? Okay. Anyway, so Miranda finally got her a girlfriend, okay, which is Joy, and she's the lady from the BBC. Is that what it's called? The BBC, the BCC? Maybe the BCC, BBC, BCC, BBD. East Coast family. Let me stop, y'all. It's too early for this shenanigans. So, now Miranda ends up inviting Joy over to Carrie's house, okay? Because now I don't think Carrie had offered her a place to stay at the time, or was it right before? Miranda seemed to have been in the Airbnb and couch surfing for quite some time, and Carrie got this big place. This house came up, I think it came up on Watch What Happens because why hadn't Carrie like gave Miranda a place to stay? And even though it seemed like when she did finally like Miranda stay on the couch, we saw that Miranda overstayed her welcome very quickly. And I guess that's due to Carrie just really used to having smaller space and I guess to herself. I don't know. But it do seem pretty weird that she didn't let Miranda stay with her sooner. Because I was wondering, like, why is Miranda still in an Airbnb? Like, I don't know. Um, but she invites Joy over to Carrie's place. Because I think they were having, I don't know. I don't remember what was going on with Joy. Joy was going out or having dinner with some friends or something. And so she like invited them all to come over for, I guess, drinks. Um, but at the same time, Miranda ended up doing something silly online. I think she was doing a BBC, BCC, whatever those that thing is. She was doing some type of interview, and she made a mistake and said "cunt" on the air, and so it became, a meme. And so she thought that Joy wouldn't like her now that she was like this viral meme for saying something like so silly on television. Um, well, that ended up not being true because they did share their first kiss. So that's how we end up finding out that Miranda has a girlfriend. Now with Charlotte, Charlotte hosts her Shabbat dinner. So Harry's father, Lisa is talking about her, the producer Marion, um, and if she's going to hire him. I think this is where she's going back and forth about if she's going to hire him because she's doing a docu series that is surrounding the subject are like strong female pioneers, and she's kind of having a difference. Like, well, how do I hire like a male? Producer. Like I think her idea was that everybody had to be female. She ends up hiring the guy, and the guy actually happens to be pretty handsome. Now, do you know who ends up playing the guy Marion? If you remember the game when Melody and Derwin broke up and she started dating, I can't remember his name, but she started dating the guy that was calling him like the action figure. That's who plays Marion. So yeah, he's pretty nice looking. So this is just gonna get us right into oh, sorry guys. This is just gonna take us right on to the next episode. Oh, well, back to the dinner back to the Shabbat dinner. Um We find out Lily's boyfriend is, oh, they had the word, and I don't want to say the wrong word now. Well, he dates me and them women. Okay. And I don't know if they use the term bi or if she actually used the term pan. I feel like that's the term that they did use was like pan. Um, and so, because the Lily's boyfriend is a ballerina, it was kind of a funny little dinner when the guy was saying, like, well, back in my day, the boy ballerinas dated other boys. And so the guy was like, well, I have a boyfriend too. And so everybody kind of looked, but went on about the day because I guess that's the time we are living in, child. And Lily liked this boy. So, okay, girl. What else happens? Let me see. So here's another thing. We end up finding out that Harry, Charlotte's husband, right? Harry has prostate cancer, so he's dealing with that. He's asked Charlotte not to share it with anybody, so Charlotte is keeping it to herself. But you can see her really struggling with that. And it kind of sucks that she can't tell her girlfriend so she can get that off her chest. But she's being true to her husband and really in true Charlotte form. Is trying to take care of everything and make sure everybody is happy. So we end up, let's talk about Seema. Seema, I don't know what her character, it seems like when they brought Seema in, it seems like they had her kind of um in this Samantha like place, right? Even though we know she's not replacing Samantha, which is why I think they keep having Samantha show up in some type of way. Like how we saw Carrie got a text from Samantha, right? And so that was kind of that's a way of keeping Samantha just kind of threaded in everything, even though like we know she's not coming back. So anyway, I don't know. Maybe that's a way of staying true to the fans. It feels I don't know. I don't know how I don't like it. I don't like it. I don't think I need the Samantha thread at this point. Because I think like this is what I said from the beginning when we knew that they would do the reboot and just like that, and we knew that Samantha was not going to come back. Here's how I looked at the story. I'm a huge Sex and the City fan, like most. But the way I looked at the story, as far as Samantha not coming back, because we know we got a lot of fans that was kind of like, well, if Samantha's not coming back, I'm not watching. In life evolves, right? And maybe your friendships do change. And it's not even a maybe, they do. If you I am 45, if you're 40 and over, I think everybody can maybe attest to that you've had some friendships that started one way and today they are somewhere else. If you still have the friendship at all. And so that's kind of the way I looked at and just like that, moving on without Samantha. I think we did need some sort of answer or some sort of play out about why she would not be there. And I guess they did that. But the whole, because again, it's her and Carrie. And it's like to see them kind of with the text, that they haven't made up. Last season, it was the call, right? To say goodbye to the apartment. I mean, I thought that was very nostalgic, only because remember in Sex and the City 1, the movie, when she was getting ready to marry Big before they had to call off the wedding, right? She was moving and they had to do the party at the apartment. So I think for me, that's what that scene was about. For the fans, it's kind of getting Samantha to say goodbye to this apartment because Samantha did the same thing in Sex and the City 1, right? Which is showed up from LA to say goodbye to the apartment. So for her to so that thread was kind of a part of that. But we know that Samantha's not showing up because the actress who plays Samantha has already told us that it's a no for her. So we're not gonna see her. Um, and so with that being said, I don't know that we need this tiny little thread coming in. The other thing I'm not sure about is Stanley. Like, why why is Stanley in Bali somewhere, like turning into a monk? Why? I guess I can understand in a sentimental way for the people involved, like in real life, maybe to um to actually put that uh demise on Stanley's character, maybe that's too much to the truth. And maybe that's why they're not doing that, but it's really weird. It's really weird because it's almost like you're leaving this door open as if Stanley can walk back through and end up on one of the episodes of it just like that, and it's not happening. Like, it literally is not happening. Not the same way that the Samantha thing is not happening. Poor Stanley passed away. So yeah, he's not coming back. So I don't know why he's in Bali. And like I said, it's got to be some type of symbolic thing for Carrie and maybe the cast that I don't know, but they had no problem killing Big. They had no problem putting Big's ashes right on the screen. Okay, like yes, even though this man is good and alive, he is never coming back to this show. Okay, I think that's funny. Um, so back to Seema. So yeah, is in this weird place, which I don't think the character. I don't know. I am not. Um, I'm not identifying with the character at all. Even though she's a woman of color, and let's just, I guess, give shots out for them having a woman of color around because that is something that they did not have the first time around. Listen, I didn't look at Sex in the City trying to look for how many black people showed up in it. I just looked at it because it was a good show. But today, in today's world, representation matters, and we know that there are black people in New York, even though again there are groups of pockets of people who don't have any black people in them. Like it just happens. Not everybody got a black person in their back pocket. Um, and that should be okay, that should be okay. I mean, it should be okay as long as it's not like there's a racist reason behind it. I'm just saying that in life, these things exist, these circles exist. So I'm not a person that has to look for that in every place. But again, back to Seema's character, I'm not identifying, I'm not finding any type of interesting thread. So she's like extravagant, she's looking for love, but now her real estate company been sold underneath her. And we just saw her, like, didn't a partner like try to hook her up with a man? So he turned around and sold the company without telling her. Like, that's all weird. Who is in the right room? Now that I'm saying this crap out loud, like, that's probably what took me so long to do the reviews. Y'all, I guess I'm not feeling this that much either. I guess I'm not feeling it as much as I thought. Cause Seema, like, what's up with that? We literally just saw this man like come and try to hook her up with somebody. He didn't make any mention about him selling that company. But anyways, Ryan from Million Dollar List in New York, he makes his cameo because clearly he's the one that bought the company. And whatever it was he wanted from Seema, she was not willing to do, and so he basically let her go. So she got to give up her car, and so she's having these feelings about that, um, about letting go of her car, and I guess the image. Again, I'm not relating to her character, and it's strange that I can relate to the other characters in some way, shape, or form. I'm not relating to her at all, not even in an aspirational way, because I don't aspire to be so materialistic. And again, if we compare her to like Samantha, um, I don't necessarily recall Samantha being materialistic. I think liking nice things and knowing how to go buy yourself nice things is something. Speaking of like the Birkin bag, but Seema just seems to have a different relationship to the materials, and again, it's not landing for me. It's not landing. I prefer Professor Naya. And I wish they would have kept her around. Speaking of the new characters, the LTW, is that her name? Lisa? Yeah, I think it's LTW. Um, I don't think they're doing a good job with her character. It seems like, I mean, she dresses well, and even that's out of place though. It's like they're so focused on making sure, like she has these bold pieces on, and but it's kind of like, where is she going? Like, why does she have these big ass rocks around her neck? Where is she going? To the place to edit in a dark room? Why does she have on a couture, skirt? Um, and no, I don't. It doesn't seem realistic, at all. And outside of that, like I didn't understand when her husband brought out his acapella group. Like it was off balance. I don't know why we needed to know that information. And it just was thrown to us. I didn't understand that. So now that I'm thinking about it and actually talking about the show, I'm understanding where the fans are coming from, because what is going on? Like, what is going on? Like I said, we end up seeing that Aiden. Oh, so okay, so Aiden is able to come and visit Carrie after she gets back from Virginia. Now, again, she apologizes to Aiden before she leaves Virginia, because she's like, "Hey, I need to apologize. Like, I was really kind of basically tripping. I didn't really believe that you needed to be here with your sons. I thought you was just basically making up some stuff like a typical woman would, right? Which is why I was having that conversation, because I'm not a typical. I am and I'm not, right? I sometimes have thoughts like my unpopular opinions, but again, I gave Aiden props for needing to be with his sons and being able to tell her that. But I do agree, typical. Even myself, if somebody's told me that, I would tell them okay, but I would be thinking like he's just making up something, like that is not really true. But because she was there at that dinner and saw the disaster that was going on, she knows that, hey, you do need to have your attention on your sons. Like you cannot be chasing up behind me. And listen, not for nothing, let's just put it out there. Why would you want a guy who would be anything less? Like, why would you want to date somebody who would want to put their attention on you and not on their child? And their child is running around here losing his mind, like literally. Some women, though, some women, you'd be surprised. anyway, anyway, let's move on. Um, So we end up finding out that there's a downstairs to the apartment. I thought all this time I thought Carrie bought like a house. I don't know. I don't know what they call it. Like I did. I thought she got like a townhome. I didn't realize it was still an apartment and that there's a basement apartment or a bottom apartment, or I don't even know how to call it. But yeah, there's a guy who comes in. He is an author also. He comes in for the fall or during the summer, something like that, because he's usually over in London. But he coming to write his book for these few months, and he ends up introducing himself to Carrie because she is clacking, clacking, clacking across the floor, and it is bothering him while he is trying to write. So he goes and asks Carrie if she does not mind taking her shoes off when she came home. She thought, "Are you kidding me?" That is a pretty bold request, right? For somebody to come knock on your door and like, "Hey, can you take your shoes off when you come home?" But listen, it happens. And by the end of the episode, though, Carrie does take her shoes off. So listen, with a lot of the innuendo going on. Oh, also, what is his name? Let me see if I can remember what his name is. Because Aiden does end up meeting him, and Aiden looked like he was feeling some type of way, as he should, after he done broke Carrie's window. Trying to be nostalgic and trying to throw the pebble, honey. He done broke the whole damn window. And that's what I'm talking about. Like goofballs. Like, please don't try to do nothing else sweet. When you burn my damn house down. Aiden is just, I don't know why they make him like show up like such a goofy. And again, I don't remember him being that goofy in the series. I really don't. I don't. I don't remember him being that goofy. So yeah, he done broke the whole window. Now he's spending all of his energy trying to replace this window because Carrie explained how old it was and that you can see the different lights through it and that it would be hard to find glass like that. But he's actually feeling guilty because Wyatt was supposed to go on a week camp. Wyatt decided not to go to this camp. Him and Kathy frustrated about it, and somehow they end up sleeping together. Yeah, they trying to console each other, and they just slept together. Now that's what he really is trying to figure out how to tell Carrie, and why he's fixated on this window that he done broke, which is probably why he broke the window by accident, I'm sure. But like, yeah, you trying to be sweet, goofy. And now you done broke her whole damn window. Y'all should have saw the look on my face when that happened. I was just like, what? Anyway, um so that's when we find out that like Aiden thought that Carrie was like not gonna sleep with anybody else for 5 years. And even though, like Carrie said, I don't know why we hadn't talked about this, but no, like that's not what my intention was, which thank God, because I was thinking that it wouldn't be either, but it wasn't clear to us as the audience, and clearly not to Aiden either. But yeah, for 5 years, Joker, while you over here, so basically, when he told her that he slept with Kathy, she kind of was just like, "Oh, like okay," she wasn't like pissy about it, right? And he trying to figure out like why not, and that's what she's saying, well, something was gonna happen, right? And so for her, she more so is more interested in why, right? How you ended up back in bed with your ex-wife. Understandable. I guess that's what comes with maturity and maybe being in the script because please, okay? Please. But she can't, again, her concern is more about why. How did they end up sleeping together? So I think she's more like, do you still have feelings for her? And I kind of feel like a yes. This is again why I'm not feeling the Aiden, Carrie, get back. or spin the block. Because first of all, he not even in the same place, so it's not a full spin the block, and it feels like Carrie is punishing herself, to give him this leash about. And listen, he deserves the leash, because I'm not saying that she's supposed to take it from him, but what I am saying is that she doesn't have, like, we wanna see her date. We wanna see Carrie be happy. Like, we didn't get to see her be happy with Big, um, because he passed first episode when they came back. And so we already, the audience is ready to see Carrie, like, be in bliss. And y'all bring us this half-ass story with Aiden. And again, I give him the props. He does need to be with his son. His son got a lot of issues. That is not the problem. The problem is, who is Carrie gonna date in the meantime? So I guess it's got to be Duncan. Is that his name? Is that the man name that's downstairs? So they make an agreement that they will read each other's work, because again, Carrie's doing a new novel. It's fiction. This is the first time she's doing fiction, and it's like a period piece. So it's set in like 18th century. Um, and so she asks for his, expertise, because he's supposedly like a very well-known author and writer. So so we're hoping that they're gonna end up dating, right? Aiden does get to meet him. He sees how handsome he is, and Carrie takes her shoes off for him at the end of the episode. Not only she had put runners down first, but the runners wasn't working. So we see Carrie take her shoes off, and this was so cute for me. And I guess that's why I like watching it just like that, because I like to pick up on the little just a little like nods to Sex in the City and to, the original. So when she takes off her shoes, she takes off the Mary Janes that she got from the Vogue closet. Remember when she went to Vogue and the dirty old man, got her drunk and took her to the closet, and she saw the Mary Janes? Um, and so those were the shoes that she took off. I thought that was so cute. And I do love those little bitty details. However, it turns out they probably should have paid just a tad bit more attention to the details, because LTW's dad died, and it turns out her dad had died already. Now, how you fix that is, you can have a stepdad and a natural dad, right? So I think that's what's being said. Is like the dad she's mentioning in season one, is a stepfather. I'll go with it. It's not that big of a deal for me. So Seema has this weird interaction with Carrie's landscaper. He's sticking around a lot longer than it seemed like he should. So I guess him and Seema are gonna hit it off. Seema had this really like awkward scene where she snorted. I am not connecting with Seema's character. Like, I don't even I can understand why she snorted, I guess, because she's supposed to always be keeping herself together, and she's very conscious about what she looks like. And so, yeah, seeing her laugh and, snort is kind of, I guess, would be crass to her. I mean, snorting is crass, and I don't care where it comes from and when you do it. So it was just weird. I thought it was weird. I don't know. Y'all drop down in the comments and let me know. What did you think? I thought it was weird, but it was supposed to be cute to the guy. And so he gets up and sing karaoke. That was funny too. They decide to throw Charlotte a birthday party because, again, Charlotte is dealing with Harry having prostate cancer. She finally breaks down and says something to Carrie, but swears Carrie the secrecy because Harry doesn't want to tell anybody. And so all three of them were having a conversation. So Miranda's out the loop, but she's kind of picking up like something is up. So Carrie ends up telling her, like, oh, it's Richard Burton, the dog who has terminal cancer. So Miranda is like going all out for this birthday party for Charlotte because she's thinking that Charlotte is sad about the dog, which Charlotte is sad, but it's not about the dog, it's about her husband. And Miranda don't know. I thought that was cute. But she got a karaoke machine, and honey, LTW's son stayed up on that doggone karaoke machine singing all the show tunes. So I don't know if that's why they put in the scene with LTW's husband and his acapella group, because again, it was out of place. I don't know why they just broke out into song. I don't even know why they was there. Um, but from the karaoke machine, and then we see their son, just busting his gut singing, honey. Um, It seemed like that's maybe where he got his love of singing. His From his dad and the acapella group. Um, but finally they get some other people on the microphone, and the guy, the landscaper, I don't remember his name. He gets up to sing a song to Seema. And he points out that she had a beautiful eye. And that's because she had a eye patch on the other one. She went and tore up her Louis Vuitton fanny pack so she could make the eye patch designer, basically. I understand. I would have blinked it out. I blinked out my boot when I had my fractured leg. And really it was because any other way that boot is ugly. So I had to do something to make it cute. Especially if I had to wear it every day. I get it. Um, so I guess she thought that was sweet, and how she ended up with one good eye in this episode is taking shortcuts on her lash extensions. Um, and so she gets an infection. And see, I wasn't even sure if I liked that whole. I don't know. I don't know. Seema is rubbing me the wrong way. I don't know if I like that scene with her in the lash extension place. But that's how she ends up with the eye patch, because she skims on her lash tech, goes somewhere else, and the lash tech gives her a eye infection. What else is happening? I think that's pretty much it. Um Yeah, I think that's pretty much it so far. So, like I said, I was not aware that y'all was not feeling this season. I know I saw I saw a short he did, and he was just like they need to toss it, like it's done. And I was like, oh my God, is it done? Is it done? I was really trying to hold on. But now that I'm, like I say, now that I'm talking about it out loud, oh, they might be right. Because they got to kill this Carrie and Aiden thing. They got to, like, this. I can't. I can't. Yeah, I can't. I don't know why that's saying that. But I am looking forward to kind of finishing out Charlotte and Harry's story. Her with the girls, Charlotte is easy. Charlotte's always gonna be Charlotte. And Charlotte's so sweet. And yeah, and we don't want to see her go through anything bad with Harry. Like, we love Charlotte and her happily ever after. So leave her with the happily ever after. What else? I think that's pretty much it for me. So, with that being said, I'm gonna tell y'all to go ahead, like this video, and subscribe to my channel. Okay, if you have not already, subscribe to my channel. And when you do subscribe, you will become a part of the family. Hashtag cousins crew. We talk about Real Housewives of Atlanta. We'll do some other videos. And listen, if you want to know, do I watch something? Just let me know. If you want me to talk about something, if I watch it, we can talk about it. Yeah. Okay, I'm out of here. Bye. Have a good day.